Okay, hello. It's been about a month since my Magellan project, and I've been back here in America. Currently in my car, because I thought, I'm done with all the videos. I'm done with editing all the videos. All the videos are online and everything. So I thought maybe I should do like an overview of everything I managed to learn and do during my Magellan project. But I also thought maybe I should also, talk about that stuff while kind of, getting into American coffee culture. I'm not gonna do, a whole research project like I did for my Magellan project, but, go to the usual American coffee place, Starbucks. Their fall menu thing just dropped, and the pumpkin spice latte is like the most popular American coffee drink at this time, so everybody's getting it. So I thought might as well, do it. Why not? See, kind of compare this American coffee culture to what I learned in Europe, and then I'll, talk about everything I did in Europe. But yeah, we're gonna drive to my local Starbucks and hopefully have a great time. I love Starbucks. But okay, I'll see you there. Okay, so we have just arrived to Starbucks, my local Starbucks. I hate being here, but thought I'd do this, I did all of European coffee culture and stuff like that, so I thought I'd have to kind of do American coffee culture, and the pumpkin spice latte, whatever, fall drinks at Starbucks is probably the most popular thing you can think of, other than like, regular American drip coffee. So thought I'd do this, talk about my European coffee culture adventure thing, and yeah, we're gonna go in and try this thing that I don't want to have, but whatever. See you there. Can I just get an iced pumpkin spice latte?
Yeah, what size?
The smallest size, but can I also just get like very little ice in it, like maybe like 2 or 3 ice cubes or something like that?
Sure, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So the tall iced pumpkin spice latte and very light ice.
Yep.
I'm gonna type in 3 cubes of ice.
Okay, that works. That works.
All right. Okay,
Not a fan of ice, but
I get it. I get it. It is $5.95.
Okay.
And then what's the name for your order?
Evan.
Evan?
Yep.
Or do you have our app?
No, I don't.
Okay, gotcha. $5.95.
Okay, so I've got my iced pumpkin spice latte. I said like barely any ice because I hate drinking ice in my milk or coffee drinks because it just waters it down, but I couldn't not get ice because that's how you're supposed to do it, and that's the most popular way, so I'm just going with whatever is the most popular way to do everything. But got it, and sitting in the most beautiful spot outside Starbucks. You thought the terraces in Europe on the street and everywhere else were beautiful. Just wait till you see this place. It's amazing. Look at this. Beautiful. What a beautiful sight. Oh, so beautiful. The monuments. Yep. Okay, after you seeing all the beautiful sights that surround America, and the terraces of Starbucks and everything, I thought I'd try this abomination. But yeah, let's give it a shot. I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, the taste is good. It's just not how I like to drink coffee. But I mean, I'm not like dogging on the taste or saying that the taste of it is bad or anything. I get why people like to drink coffee this way. You know, it's usually all the Americans have to drink coffee with, you know, some sort of sweetener or, you know, getting rid of that coffee flavor. That's how we all like, well, not all of us, because there is a lot of people that, you know, actually drink coffee for the coffee flavor, but there's not many. It's usually people can't stand the taste of coffee, so the only way they can drink coffee is if it's an abomination like this, or, you know, like drip coffee. Where it's all watered down and stuff like that. That's actually how, like, the Italian Americano, the drink, came to be, because like the American soldiers in Italy during like the war times, they went to like all the bars and cafes and stuff in Italy, and they couldn't stand drinking espresso. It was way too strong for them. So they just like put espresso with like water, hot water, and then that's how the drink was invented, the Americano. But yeah, this drink is good. I mean, the taste is fine. I like the taste. I'm a big pumpkin guy, but is this how I would like to drink my coffee? No. But I mean, I can see why people like to do it. But yeah. So now I'll start going over what I did in Europe. Okay, so going over what I did in Europe. Stop one was obviously Vienna, Austria. And my goal in Vienna was to, you know, go to the historical cafes, you know, enjoy a coffee and a pastry there. And I want to enjoy a coffee and a pastry there because they have such a huge culture of Kaffee und Kuchen, which means coffee and cake in German. It's a huge culture there in Vienna, Austria, Germany, all those countries like that. So I wanted to do that, go to the cafes, especially because that's the places you get them from, and everything like that. And I also wanted to talk to some locals, see what they do for coffee, you know, how they drink it, and everything like that. So I'd say I was successful. I would definitely say I was successful. I definitely didn't fail at doing any of that. Could I have done a little better? Possibly, you know, but I mean, it's already done and over with, so I can't really change anything. But so the first thing that we did was we kind of got into more of, you know, the specialty coffee, third wave, when we went to the cafeteria and talked to Peggy. She told me a lot of things about, you know, the Austrian coffee culture in Vienna especially, and how melange is like the, you know, the popular Viennese drink, how it's made with like the milk mixed with the cream, which I thought was really good. I really like that aspect, and honestly I'd probably make it, to be honest. But so we got to talking about that, and like why she has someone roast for her and why she serves like, you know, only single origins and stuff like that. It's all based on her likings, how she prefers to, you know, get all the different tastes of coffee from different places in the world. Like she can have a Honduras that's like a blueberry fruity flavor, and then she could have like a Colombian the next day, which is like a chocolatey flavor and stuff like that. So it was great to learn that from her. Then I got to talk to the local, and she told me all about, you know, Austrian coffee culture, how actual Austrian roasted coffee is just not good. So it was nice to know that. And after that, got to actually do the whole cafe und Kuchen, you know, culture. Went to demo. In my opinion, I mean, no, I won't say it's overrated, but the coffee was terrible. I mean, the coffee wasn't that good, and it was way too overpriced. I just got an espresso, and it was 4 whole euros, way too much. But I got the Sachertorte, which is a staple of Viennese cakes, and Demo is the most noteworthy and famous place to get the Sachertorte, and it was good. I really liked it, but it was just so expensive. The espresso alone and the cake was like 13 euros, which is way too much, but oh well, you gotta experience it. I would go there for the cake, but I don't know if I'd spend the extra a lot of money for the coffee, because it wasn't really that good. But then after that, we got to go to more you know, cafes. Oh yeah, I forgot to even mention that, you know, the cafe culture in Vienna, that's one thing I was wanting to, you know, look at, how they're so historical and everything like that. So Demo was kind of the first cafe, but not, I wouldn't really technically call it a cafe, because it was more of like a bakery than a cafe. But then the next day we actually got to go to like a cafe. We went to Cafe Frauenhuber. When I was going there, I was hoping to talk to some locals, because I got told that's where I'm gonna find the locals. But I think I went way too early in the morning. I went at like 8 o'clock in the morning, hoping that, I didn't know that they, you know, didn't go at that time, but I was hoping that they would be there, but there was no one there. I was the only person in there, but still got to try, you know, some Viennese staples like apple strudel, and an Einspänner, which is just espresso with whipped cream on top, and that was good. I really like that. I like the whole creamy thing that they had going on there, and the apple strudel was really good. So that was my first proper cafe experience, and I really liked it. It was a really nice like experience sitting down in the cafe. It had great, you know, great vibes. It was nice and fancy in there, and I mean, the coffee wasn't amazing, but it was good. But you know, the apple strudel was really good. So, but it was nice. So after that, I went to go hit a, you know, third wave specialty coffee place. Went to Jonas Reindl Coffee Roasters, and my goal when I was going there was hopefully to speak to someone, whether that be a worker or owner, roaster, or someone, and just ask them questions about the third wave in Austria, Vienna, wherever, Europe actually in general. But so we went there and got to try an espresso there. No pastry, just because I like to try the espressos only at the third wave places, to try their coffee that they actually roast and stuff like that. So did that. Tried the coffee. It was amazing. Then I went in and talked to the roaster, um, and it was great. It was a great conversation. I got to learn a lot about how they, source their coffee, how they import it, and everything like that. I was very surprised by the fact that they actually took trips out to the places that they get their coffee from. Like they went to a farm in Colombia to, see how they, treat their workers, because there is a problem with, worker worker treatment. But so they actually go out there and see everything, and then they choose if they want to actually import their coffee from them and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. Then I got to get his opinions on where he thinks the third wave and specialty coffee scene is going to be in the next years and everything like that. So that was a great time. After that, I went to Cafe Central, which is the most famous cafe in Vienna. It's the most historic and everything like that. And I got the Altensberg Torte, which is one of the three cakes in Vienna. I got told by one of the workers at another cafe, and yeah, it was really good. I recommend actually going to Cafe Central. It is expensive, like all the other cafes, for whatever reason, but I recommend going there. It was very good. Then after that, the next day I went to a place called Kleines Cafe, which was honestly my favorite place. Well, I really liked it. Jonas Reindl was, it's up there. They're like tied, kind of. But Kleines Cafe was really cool. It was a really small area, really small cafe, and I got a melange and a curd strudel. It was like an apple strudel or strudel type thing, but made with like a cottage cheese type thing. But it was very good. The melange was also really good. It was really foamy. I remember it, because you could see in the video, the foam was like this tall compared to where the cup was, but it was still really good. I really liked it. And then the curd strudel, I didn't think I was gonna like it that much either, but it was amazing. It was probably one of my favorite things I had in Vienna. And then I got to talk to a local there too, and I got to talk to her about how she likes to drink her coffee, when she likes to drink her coffee, when she comes to these cafes, and that she likes to come to these cafes with friends, and Vienna coffee culture and stuff like that. I mean, it's all in the video, but I'm just in summary of what I did. So yeah, that was great talking to her. I got to learn a lot. And then last place we went to Cafe D Glass. Sorry, I'm freestyling this, so if I miss any points or any small details, that's why. But went to Cafe D Glass, had the last one of the three main Viennese cakes. Had the Stephan's Torte, and also just an espresso because how expensive it was. And it was good. The Stephan's Torte was really good. It was like a cookies and cream chocolate type thing, and it was amazing. But yeah, that was Vienna. That was like a summary of what I did in Vienna. I learned a ton. I learned about the whole coffee and Kuchen culture there. Got to learn what times. It's more of like an afternoon type thing. It's more of like a you just relax, sit down, enjoy a melange, something to enjoy, not just an espresso real quick, but something to enjoy like a melange or a cappuccino, and then you get a piece of cake and you just sit and enjoy it, whether it be with friends or stuff like that. Then got to learn about, you know, the cafes, the historical cafes. Got to go to them, got to enjoy coffees there. Especially at Cafe Central, got to learn about, like, you know, the history and how it got so big and stuff like that. That's all in the video though. So but then I got to see a little bit more about, you know, the third wave in Vienna after going to Jonas Reindl. Got to learn about all that. And yeah, I think Vienna was a success. I'd say my favorite place in Vienna was either Kleines Cafe or Jonas Reindl, but purely going off of, you know, like what I was trying to do there with all the cafes and stuff, I'd say Kleines Cafe was my favorite. Kleines Cafe I'd recommend, and it's not super expensive. Just you have to bring cash though, because they don't accept card. Sorry, but my least favorite was, I'd say definitely Demo. Demo was probably my least favorite, just so expensive, and I didn't get the best customer experience there, and coffee was average at best. And the only thing that was like really good about that place was the Sachertorte. But yeah, so that was Vienna. I'm probably missing a lot of things because, like I said, I am freestyling this, and just, like, you know, summarizing what I did, based on what I remember and my own personal opinion. But yeah, Vienna was a big success. I feel like talking to the locals was great, and learning about, you know, the coffee culture in Vienna is more, you know, the coffee culture there is more of you sit down and enjoy coffee compared to Italy, which is next. But yeah, so now on to Italy. Okay, so Italy. First place, Milan. That's where we went first. So my goal in Milan was to, you know, introduce myself and, you know, you guys and my project to, you know, the Italian coffee culture. You know, the Italian style of doing coffee and everything like that. What's an Italian breakfast. And then I also wanted to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I also wanted to go to, you know, the specialty coffee places, the third wave places, because Milan is such a, you know, it's not a new city, obviously, but it's a city where that allows, like, newer things to happen. You know, like Naples and all the older, more southern, especially Italian cities, they are so, like, particular about things, and they don't allow new stuff or different stuff to come in. So, but Milan is an exception. Milan, you can do all that type of stuff. You could bring in specialty coffee places, and there's a lot of them in Milan. So I wanted to, you know, see that scene in Milan. Also, you know, go to local bars. Milan has some also, you know, fancier cafes to go to. But yeah, that's what I wanted to see in Milan, and, you know, kind of compare the north to the south as well. That kind of like with Milan and Trieste and then going to Naples, you know, the north of Italy versus the south. So that was the goals in Milan, and I think I was pretty dang successful. So the first day was kind of like, you know, introduce myself to the Italian coffee culture, like the style of having coffee there, and like figuring out what is an Italian breakfast and stuff like that. So the first place I went to, it was like a little small bar, bakery type thing. It was called La Pasticceria, which means just like the bakery or the pastry shop or whatever. So I went in there, and first thing I did was ask the worker, you know, hey, what's an Italian breakfast? What do you guys have for breakfast in the morning? And Sorry, I'm gonna do that every time people walk by because I just don't like talking in front of a camera in the first place, but especially not around people. But so basically, I went into the bar coffee shop, and I was like, hey, what's an Italian breakfast? You know, what do you guys do for breakfast here in Italy? And he said cappuccino and brioche, or croissant, or cornetto. One of those you could probably say, well, the two of them, brioche and cornetto, you could say, but it's a croissant, basically. So after that, I ordered a cappuccino and a brioche with chocolate, and it was amazing. It was very good. Cappuccinos are nice because you get to actually sit down and drink it, which is very unlikely and unusual in Italy. I'll get to that in a second. And then the chocolate croissant was also amazing. It was just, you know, a regular croissant with chocolate filling in the middle, and it was great. I love having that for breakfast. Well, at the same time, I don't, because it's it's so bad. Oh no, it's not bad like tasting, but it's like so bad because like I'm just having sweets and stuff, and I like to have like, you know, eggs and fruits and stuff like that for breakfast. But I love having an Italian breakfast too. So it was good. It was really good. Then I got to actually talk to that worker, and he told me a lot about, you know, the Italian coffee culture. He told me, you know, go to a bar and get an espresso, just drink it at the bar real quick and leave. That's, you know, that's the usual Italian coffee culture. So, and then he told me about how he thinks that, you know, the south of Italy, Naples especially, has better coffee. And that goes into my points of, well, and my goal of, you know, trying to figure out, you know, the north versus the south. And in his opinion, in the worker's opinion, he said that the south is better because of things like weather, temperature, water, and stuff like that, and the hand-pulled machines and how they focus on the crema a lot more in the espresso. So yeah, it was a great conversation with him. Then after that, I walked down the street and I found a local looking bar. And I thought, hey, this guy just told me to go get an espresso at a bar, so I'm gonna go do that real quick. So that's what I did. I went into the bar, got an espresso, made it in like a minute, and then I got it, drank it real quick, and then I was out. I mean, it was a cool experience. I liked it. I'd rather sit down, but it's really not. I like doing that too. You know, I'd do both. I'd switch between both, honestly. But it was nice. They're always cheap there. You know, I think I paid probably $1 or €1 for just an espresso, and it's not bad espresso. It's not great espresso, but it's just a regular, you know, like Italian style coffee where it's a dark roast and not all Arabica and stuff like that. So, but it was good, and I really like doing that type of culture. But then after that, I thought I'd try and go to one of the more, you know, fancier cafes. I was hoping to try and sit down. I went to Marchesi. I was hoping to try and sit down, but there was no seating at all. So I just stood at the bar. I got a Maraschino, which is like a espresso with milk and cocoa powder. It's kind of like a mocha here. Not really, because it doesn't have like chocolate syrup, but it has the cocoa powder on top. And then I got a little pastry with fruit, and it was really good. Maraschino was really good. It was a little more expensive. It's not too expensive like Vienna though, but it was a little more expensive than, like, you know, the bars and all that, but it was good. So then the next day was the day where I was trying to hope to go to my favorite place. I've been to it before, but I love it. It's the specialty coffee place, third wave. It's called Nowhere Coffee. Nowhere Future Coffee Roasters, favorite place of all time. And then, but before that, I wanted to, you know, hit a local bar spot. So walking on my way to Nowhere, and then I ran into Bar Piccolo, which was, I love that place. Was so cool. It was just a little, you know, like kiosk or stand or however you want to call it, just on the street, and they had seating outside, not much of it inside. They had a little bar inside that you could drink at, but it's more for the outside, more sit outside. But it was really cool. It was really cool, and I got a macchiato and a pistachio croissant, and oh my god, it was amazing. It was so good. Macchiato is probably like my favorite regular milk coffee drink in Italy. I make them here sometimes in America, and I try and get them wherever they have them in America as well. It's really good. It's just, you know, espresso with milk foam on top. You can also add the milk in, but usually it's just milk foam on top, not add the milk into the espresso. But it was really good. And the pistachio croissant was amazing. I love pistachio croissants. After that whole trip, I love pistachio croissants. But so that was Bar Piccolo. I got to speak to a local there, and he told me about, you know, how he likes to enjoy coffee. You know, he uses a mocha pot and to enjoy his coffee in the morning, and told me more stuff, but that's all in the video. That's all in the video. So it was good speaking to him, because he that was one of my main goals, is to speak to locals and stuff like that. So then after that, I headed to Nowhere Future Coffee Roasters, and I was so excited because I love that place so much. So when I got there, I ordered a rare espresso and I forget the word. It was exceptional espresso. So like they had the different tiers. There was like the basic, and then rare, and then exceptional. I got one rare, a single shot of the rare, and then a double shot of the exceptional, and a pastry called a double bake. But best coffee. The rare was amazing, but the exceptional was just the best. It was probably the best coffee I've ever tasted. So then the pastry was good too. It was different. It was very different, and that's one thing that I was explaining in the video of when I went there, and also other videos after I went to specialty coffee places. You know, I'd say that, you know, they like to prioritize like their baking, and they do different varieties of baking goods and stuff like that. They don't just do the normal Italian style baked goods like croissants and stuff like that. But it was good. I wouldn't say it was really good, because it kind of wasn't what I was expecting, but it was good. But then after that, I went back and I got to talk to Luciano, one of the owners of Nowhere, and I got to talk to him for a long time about you know, his opinions on where he sees the third wave going in Italy, especially, and Europe, and got to talk to him about how, you know, Italians drink their coffee and enjoy their coffee, and the culture there and stuff like that. And he was telling me about how, like, people just don't meet up at a bar or coffee shop to drink a coffee. If you want to drink a coffee together, then he said that you'll go over to their house to enjoy coffee and not go to like a coffee shop. If you're going to a coffee shop to enjoy coffee, then you're just getting a coffee real quick, and then that's it. So that's like the whole bar culture there. He told me that, and that was cool to learn. Wasn't expecting that, but it was cool to learn. And then he told me about, you know, how Nowhere specifically grew into how they were today, and it was cool learning that, and it was great talking to him. my favorite place. But yeah, it was great talking to Luciano, one of the owners of Nowhere. So then the last day, I hit a local bar per usual, and then I was gonna go to another third wave specialty coffee place afterwards. That day was not as eventful as the previous days, so I won't talk about it too much. I just went to a bar, but I thought the bar was pretty cool because it was so local. All the workers, everybody who walked in, all the workers knew who they were, knew their order, their usual order and stuff like that, and they had it out to them quick and everything like that. So I thought that was really cool. That's one thing I really like about the bar scene there, is that it's just super local. But the other third wave place was really good. I got an espresso there. I think it was Indonesian maybe, or something like that, but it was really good. So yeah, that was all for Milan. Now next is Trieste. I'm stupid. I still have to talk about Milan. So in Milan, I got to learn, get started learning about, Italian coffee culture. Got to learn, got to learn about what an Italian breakfast is, just a cappuccino and a croissant. You could do an espresso too, but it's usually a cappuccino and a croissant. I got to, experience the bar culture there. I got to talk to the worker at that one coffee shop before I experienced the bar culture, and he told me, that's the culture. You gotta do it. That's the staple. So I did it every day, but it was really, I got to experience it, and it was really cool. It was such a local and authentic feeling, and I loved it a lot. And then after that, I got to learn about, the third wave in Milan and Italy and stuff like that, from Luciano at Nowhere, and it was really cool. Now I got to, try a bunch of different drinks, the cappuccino, and Maraschino. Got to learn how that was made. It was, espresso, a little bit of foam milk, and cocoa powder on top. Then got to have a macchiato, which is espresso and milk foam on top. Usually just the milk foam, but you can pour the milk in it a little bit. And then got to talk to locals, especially at Bar Piccolo. He told me how they, like to drink their coffee. Usually just espresso, and then they, at their house, they, make it with a mocha pot and everything like that without milk. And yeah, it was amazing. My favorite part was learning about, the third wave and specialty coffee scene in Milan and Italy from Luciano, and got that whole conversation with Luciano was just amazing in general. It was so cool learning about all that. But going to all the bars and stuff, the bar culture and the Italian breakfast, that style was what, like one of my favorite parts about Milan. My favorite place, I'm a little biased towards Nowhere, Future Coffee Roasters, so I'll say that's my favorite place, but my favorite local place was Bar Piccolo. That place was super cool. I really liked that place. It was just, that small kiosk and everything like that, and the croissant was amazing, macchiato was amazing. It was really cool, very local. And I'd probably say my least favorite place, I'd say Marchesi, the one, fancy cafe that I was trying to go to sit down and enjoy coffee. I'd say Marchesi was my least favorite. It wasn't bad. I'd obviously go back. I'd say that's just my least favorite out of all the ones I went to. So yeah, it was really cool, and I learned a ton in Milan. It was very successful because my goal was to, get introduced to the Italian coffee culture and what's an Italian breakfast and stuff like that, and I got to learn all that. So it was great. But yeah, now on to Trieste. Okay, so Trieste. Um, Trieste. Most people, if you ask them, in Italy, where's the capital of coffee in Italy? Some people say Trieste. Some people also say Naples, just because of the specific culture there. We'll get into that next, but people will say Trieste, and I was thinking that before I went to Trieste. It's still not really changed much after being there, but Trieste mostly because of the historicalness of coffee there, and it's like the biggest coffee port in Europe. If you go to the port in Trieste, it's just coffee everywhere. And then also, that's where Illy was founded, and Hausbrand, but Illy especially because Illy is the most popular coffee brand, like probably in the world, especially in Italy, but probably in the world. They are everywhere. But that's where Illy was founded, and yeah, just the historicalness behind coffee there. So got to Trieste, and then the goal there was to I wanted to kind of interview locals and workers or whoever about the historicalness of coffee there. I was kind of successful. I wasn't too successful about figuring that out, but and then I also wanted to go to the historical old cafes, and the usual, go to the local bars and stuff like that. So I'd say I was pretty successful, other than the fact of asking locals and workers about the history behind coffee there. I kind of had to learn that myself. I did learn from locals and workers at like the cafes about like the history behind the cafes and stuff, but I couldn't really record because none of them ever wanted to be recorded. I asked like, hey, can I record this conversation, and they always said no, so couldn't really do that, but still got to learn. So basically the first day I went to Cafe Tomaseo, the oldest and most historical cafe in Trieste. It was like the first building in Trieste with electricity and everything like that. But it was really cool. I got also the different names. I forgot. My goal also was to learn about the different names of coffee in Trieste, because they call an espresso a nero, and a macchiato like a goccia, and a cappuccino cafe latte and stuff like that. So I wanted to learn about the different names. But first place I went to wasn't actually Cafe Tomaseo. It was just a local spot called Doro, Cafe Doro, or I think something like that. But so I got to ask a worker there about the different names and stuff like that, and he told me about the different names. How there's a nero. Sorry. How there's a nero, which is a just an espresso, only an espresso, and then a goccia, which is kind of like a macchiato, but I think it's only like the milk foam. Then there's just the regular macchiato, and then there's a capo, which is I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's kind of like another macchiato, but it's a little taller, I think, or the goccia is a little taller. One of goccia and capo are like the same thing, but one of them has more to it, basically. So, but I forget which one's which. And then the cafe latte, which is just a cappuccino. But then he told me about how if you say those names of the different drinks, like goccia or capo or nero, and then you add in be, which is like in B, it means they'll put it like in a glass cup, instead of just like a regular espresso mug or cup or whatever. So After he told me that, I said, okay, I'll take a Nero and I got a apricot croissant, and it was cool. It was a cool experience, you know, learning about the different names and stuff. And the croissant was really good, and the coffee was pretty good too. So that first place was really good. After that, I went to Cafe Tomaseo, and so there, it's it's the oldest and the most historic cafe in Trieste. It was like the first building with electricity and stuff like that in Trieste. So I went there and I got a gocha, I'm pretty sure, in Bay, or capo in Bay. I forget which one, but I got one of those two in Bay. And it was really cool. They brought it out on a huge like round plate, and I also got like a chocolate like crust pie thing. It's called a crostata or crostatino. Crostatina. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. But that was what it was called, and it was really cool. It was like a hard pie, crunchy pie. The coffee was great too. The inside was really cool. It was really, you know, fancy and everything like that, per usual. But it was really cool inside. And one thing that I really liked that I learned about Trieste after going to Cafe Tomaseo is the fact is about the whole little shots of chocolate that they give with the coffee, and with the orders and stuff like that. So they gave me a little shot glass of chocolate to drink before with the coffee, and that was amazing. That was probably my favorite part about Trieste, is those little shot glasses and stuff. And then I got to talk to a local after, and he told me about how the chocolate shots are, you know, a tradition around here, usually with the more historical and famous cafes and stuff like that. That's how they, you know, like to do it. And then after that, I went to Cafe degli Specchi and did the same thing, but this time I got a Nero. Yeah, just a Nero. And then I wanted to get the chocolate again because he said you could put the chocolate in the coffee, and that's how some people drink it. So that was what I was wanting to do with that, and I did it, and it was really good. It was really good. That was probably my favorite thing to do. Put the chocolate shot into the coffee, and it was really good. It was probably the most popular cafe out of all the famous cafes in Trieste. You know, there was a ton of people there, and it was expensive. My espresso alone was just €4, which is crazy. But oh well, I had to go there and experience it. But then I asked the worker about like the historicalness of Cafe degli Specchi, which the name in Italian means like coffee shop of like mirrors and stuff like that. And the whole mirror aspect was because before like electricity and lighting and stuff, they had like a ton of mirrors hung up on the walls and everything throughout the cafe to like bring in more natural light and stuff. So that's where it gets its name. And there's like only like 3 mirrors left in the whole cafe still. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then after that, the next day, I went to a local place. I think it was called Cafe Antica. I forget the name, but it's in the video. I mean, go watch the video. But I went there, and it was really cool. It was like it was kind of like, if you can imagine like an older man who smokes cigars and have like a collection of cigars and stuff. That's what it looked like inside. I don't know if that's a good description, but it was really cool. Everybody was nice there too. I got a great customer experience. I just got a capo or gocha, I think. Just a regular. I think I got a capo. And then I also got a pistachio croissant. my favorite. It was so good. It was amazing. The coffee was good too. It was really good. Everything was really good. Then I got to talk to a local. I asked him, like, how many coffees do you or like, other people from Trieste drink in a day, or just other Italians as well. And he was like telling me, like 3, 4, 5 coffees a day. And then he was telling me about, the coffee culture here in Trieste and everything like that. And he was great. He ended up paying for my coffee, which was very nice of him. But yeah, that place was really cool. I really liked that place. Then after that, I went to Cafe San Marco, which was one of the other historical cafes in Trieste, and it was really cool. There was a library in the coffee shop, and get to that in a second. But then I got a capo or goccia in bay, I think. Can't remember really. But then I also got a little pastry with fruit on top, and really good. They had a really cool espresso machine. It was really cool watching how they made it out of it. It was an espresso machine I've never seen before, but it was really cool. The whole place was really cool. I got to talk to someone. Again, they didn't want to be recorded or anything, but I got to talk to someone and ask them about the place and why there's like a library in it. And apparently the history behind the place was they used to print off fake Austrian passports, if I'm not mistaken, to anti something. It's in the video, but I just forget. I'm freestyling this, but they printed off fake passports in that place, and that place was like a super political place in the past and stuff like that. But they have the library in it because it used to be a place where like people who wrote books, authors, and people who just like to read books and stuff, they would meet there to like read books, write books, and stuff like that. So they kind of want to, keep that going, keep that whole literature thing going to this day, and that's why they still have the library in there. So I thought that was really cool. It was cool to learn that as well, learn the history behind that place. So it was really cool Trieste to learn about the history behind all the, historical cafes. They all had something to them that was, different. I thought that was really cool. Then the last place I went to was the Italy Cafe, which was really cool. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. I got there and they offered like 7 or 8 different single origins, which I thought was really cool. But I was also hoping that it wasn't a dark roast, because Italians, they like their dark roast coffee. But with single origins, if you get a dark roast, can't enjoy the flavor as much. So I was really hoping it wasn't a dark roast single origin. Turns out it wasn't. So good success on that one. And it was really good, actually. I was really surprised by the Italy Cafe. They had ton of cool things in there, and it was really cool. Italy is the biggest coffee brand in Italy and the world, probably. Actually, no, probably not the world. But it's one of the biggest in the world. So it was really cool to get to experience drinking from an Italy Cafe, especially in Trieste, where they are. Sorry. Trieste, where Italy was founded back in the day. So yeah, that was Trieste. Got to learn about all the historicalness of the cafes in Trieste. I got to learn the different names. I thought that was really cool. That was probably my favorite part about Trieste, just the different names. Oh, and then the chocolate shots. Got to learn about the chocolate shots, why they do it in Trieste, who does it. The historical cafes usually serve the chocolate shots and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. Chocolate shots and different names were like my favorite parts. Got to talk to some locals about how much they enjoy coffee and everything like that, and got to have some great coffee. It was really cool. But yeah, that was Trieste. My favorite spots, that's tough. Either either the one spot on the last day where I said like about the whole old man that smokes cigars and stuff like that. That spot, Antica something, Cafe Antica something, I forget the name, or Cafe San Marco. Those places were cool. Cafe Tomaseo was up there too because of the whole chocolate shot thing too. But I don't know. Least favorite spot was probably Cafe degli Specchi. I mean, it was cool to go to, but it was just expensive and it wasn't like that crazy. But it was cool. It was really cool. So that was Trieste. I had a great time in Trieste. It was really cool to get to experience, you know, the coffee capital of Italy. So yeah, next is Naples. Okay, so Naples, craziest place. My goals in Naples was to, you know, sorry, I'm losing words. Experience, you know, Neapolitan style espresso. Um, get to know why all the coffee shops, bars, etc. in Naples use the hand pulled espresso machines and stuff like that, and why don't they just use the automatic ones and everything like that. You know, try Neapolitan style espresso, try all the different pastries, and speak to some locals and everything like that. So Naples was probably my most successful place. And I'll tell you, well, I mean, if you watch the video, you know why, but I'll tell you why here in a second. So, first day, my plan was to go to a local bar, especially one that had a hand-pulled espresso machine. Then after that, go to a third-way place, which is really rare in Naples, especially the south of Italy, and Naples especially coffee. Sorry, third way, they're the same thing, but and then after that, go to the most famous coffee shop in Naples, which is Grand Cafe Gambrinus. So I started walking towards the specialty coffee place, and I ran into a local bar. So I go into the local bar, and you know, I get just a, you know, regular Italian breakfast. I got a Neapolitan style espresso, and I got a cream croissant. The croissant was really good, but trying the Neapolitan style espresso was different compared to what I've usually had. It was very different. It was super dark tasting. It was very powerful, potent, bitter, and everything like that. And then the crema, which is, you know, the cream part of the espresso, was super thick. It was probably like this big. And I thought that was really interesting. You know, it was such a different style from what I was having in North Italy. But it was good. It was different. I'd say the Northern Italy espresso taste was better, but it was still good. But so I got to try that, and after that, I noticed that they were using the hand-pulled machines. So I went up to the owner, and I was like, "Hey, why do you guys use these hand-pulled espresso machines and everything like that?" So he told me that they use them. I mean, he told me first that it's a tradition in Naples. You know, that's the type of espresso machine you use here in Naples, the hand-pulled. But then he also told me the reason behind it is more because you can control the pressure and the crema. So you can control the pressure by, you know, because you're doing the pulling and everything like that. It's not from a automatic machine that has the same pressure and stuff like that. And then you can also control the crema. So he said in terms what he said I play with the espresso. So like he plays on how he wants to make the espresso and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool and interesting. That's how, you know, that's the reason why they use the hand pulled machines. they're not consistent. So you would think you would use something more consistent, but they still don't do that. It's still the tradition of Naples to use a hand pulled machine for the crema and to control the pressure and everything like that. So we had a great conversation, the worker and me, and then so this is where it starts to get very very great at this point. There was a American actually in that local bar, and her name was Antoinette. It was amazing meeting her. She was the best. Turns out, well, she was kind of translating for me. I kind of knew what the worker was saying, but it was better for her to translate because I'm not the best at speaking Italian. But so we got to talking about coffee and everything like that, and the blends, like Neapolitan style blend is more Robusta than Arabica because Robusta is cheaper and everything like that. But then the Antoinette told me, hey, I know like the owner of Grand Cafe Gambrinus. So I was like, hey, that's where I'm planning on going to today. And she was like, you need to go there. I'm gonna try and get you like with the owner so you can like speak with him and stuff. I was like, that's amazing. Please do that. So she does that. We have more conversation about coffee, and you know, it was great meeting her. So she told me, I'll text you around 2 if it you know works out, if I get you with them. So I left that place, and then I went to the specialty coffee place afterwards. I went to a place called Diaz Micro Torrefazione. It's Torrefazione, like kind of means like roaster in Italian. It's like, you know, coffee producer, stuff like that, roaster, whatever. So I went there. I wanted to, you know, experience what it's like to have a specialty coffee in Naples, of all places. You know, Naples, Luciano even said, like, Luciano at Nowhere Specialty Coffee, Future Coffee Roasters in Milan, he even said, like, wow, you know of a roaster in Naples? That's a rarity there. That's something you don't see. So, you know, I had to go there. So I go there. I just get an espresso. I think I got a single origin. I think I got Rwanda, pretty sure, or Nicaraguan or Honduran, one of those 3. And it was really good. It was really good. Probably after having that, it was like, you know, in top 5 or top like 10 of best coffees I've had from like roasters and stuff. So it was really good. The place that they had was amazing, and they still do traditional stuff. So that's what I was kind of getting into with the owners. There's 2 owners. They're both brothers. So one's name is Luigi, if I remember correctly, and the other was Andrea. Luigi was the one, you know, making the espresso and stuff like that, and Andrea was the roaster, if I remember correctly, or it's vice versa. I don't know. I forget. Well, no, I don't forget, but I just don't know which one was which. But so I got to talk to Luigi at the bar, and he kept telling me, hey, like, we're not really you know, specialty coffee third wave place. I was like, okay, that's fine. That's what I consider you guys, though, because, you know, I consider specialty coffee third wave places as to be like, you know, you're roasting your own coffee, you're roasting single origins, you're, you know, importing green beans from like farms and stuff like that, and that's what they were doing. So that's kind of why I was considering them that. But they didn't like to consider themselves that, so I was like, okay, that's fine. But basically got to talking to both of them were saying this. Luigi and Andrea were saying, you know, like, we want to keep it traditional. We roast a blend that is like a typical Neapolitan style coffee blend. So it's like more Robusta and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool how they're, you know, trying to keep it traditional and stuff. And then after that, we got to, it kind of like occurred to me, like, you know, they're keeping it traditional and having this newer style place. So like more of the locals and stuff will come here, and that's what I asked. And he said, yeah, it's kind of true. The locals and stuff, they come here and they get the traditional style blend that we offer, and they enjoy it a lot. So that was really cool to learn. It was really cool to learn and talk to them, and I'm glad I got to talk to them. But then after that, it was around like 12. I get the text: go to Cafe Gambrinus at 2 o'clock and meet and meet Michele. I got that text from Antoinette, so I was like, oh, I better get ready for it. So I started heading towards Grand Cafe Gambrinus, and that starts the whole crazy experience that I got to have. I don't even know. You kind of just have to watch kind of what happened, because if I talk about it, it's going to be like a whole 5 minutes of talking about it. But basically, in summary, that was the craziest thing I got to experience the whole trip, and like almost in my life. But basically, I went there, I met the owner, Michele. He was really cool. And he basically just gave me a whole tour of the place and how they got to run everything. I got to get behind the bar and actually use the hand-pulled espresso machine. I got taught how to do that by the barista there, and that was really fun. I didn't expect to be able to learn to use the hand-pulled espresso machines, but it was really cool. So I got to do that. Then I got to go down in the basement to see how they made the pastries, like the tiramisu and croissants, and got to sample some ice cream and everything like that. Then after that, I got to learn about the whole cafe sospeso culture in Naples. Michele told me that the cafe sospeso is, something that started in Naples, and it's a tradition of Naples. It's where you pay forward a coffee for someone in need, like the homeless and stuff like that, and you basically pay for a coffee, then you put it in this big container, whatever, and then anybody in need can come and grab that ticket and go up to the bar and get a free coffee. And I thought that was amazing. That was so amazing to learn about Cafe Sospeso. And I forgot to even mention before I started making this video that Cafe Sospeso was one of my goals to learn about in Naples, and I got to learn about it from Michele, and it was really cool. But yeah, it was great. I bought a Cafe Sospeso to pay forward to someone. I don't know who got it, but I hope someone got it in need of a good coffee. Michele told me that the people in Naples feel that coffee is so important, that they feel like people can't go without it. So that's kind of why the Cafe Sospeso culture started, is because they feel like they shouldn't go day to day without coffee. So that's why that whole tradition started there. And that was really cool to learn. It was really cool to learn about Cafe Sospeso. And I got to talk to the manager of Gambrinus, and he taught me a lot, especially about the mocha pot and the traditional cucumella. Taught me how to make coffee with the cucumella and everything like that. It's all in the video, like I said. You just have to watch it. I know it's long, but still, you just have to watch it. Then after that, I got to the last thing, I got to eat some little typical Neapolitan pastries. Got a cannolo, which is a cannoli, American, whatever. A baba, which is really typical in Naples, a little strawberry pastry, and a sfogliatella. And I was eating them and enjoying an espresso with Michele, the owner. And while I was eating them, he was telling me about where they came from, how they're made, where they originated, and stuff like that. So that was really cool. I'm glad that he told me all of that. And that was that for Gambrinus. Michele gave me a gift of a little espresso cup, and I can't to this day I can't thank Michele and Antoinette enough for making that happen, making that crazy experience happen. Very grateful for that. So it was really cool. But yeah, that was day 2. Very long summary of day 2, but I mean, It had to be long because that whole day was long. But yeah, so day 2. Wait, no, that was day 1. Sorry, I got that mixed up. That was day 1. Day 2, I didn't know how to, even get close to the first day. So day 2, I basically just went to a Cafe Mexico, which is when I was at the first bar on day 1. The owner was telling me that Cafe Mexico and another type of Neapolitan style coffee is like 100% Robusta. So I wanted to go to Cafe Mexico to try this 100% Robusta. I've never tried 100% before. So I went to Cafe Mexico and I got an espresso, the 100% Robusta espresso, and I also got sfogliatella. There was 2 different types of sfogliatella at this place. I think I got the Frolla, I think, or Ricci. I forget which one it was. I forget which one of the 2, but I got one of the versions at Gambrinus on the first day, and I got the other one on at Cafe Mexico on the second day. And I liked the one at Cafe Mexico better. It was weird. It was really weird. It was like flaky. There was a ton of layers to it, and it had the ricotta filling in it, and it was crunchy, but it was cool. It was weird but cool and good. But yeah, so I got that, and the 100% Robusta coffee was different. Wasn't my favorite, but it was different. Super bitter. The most bitter coffee I've ever tasted. I think in the video when I first tasted it, I think I took a video of it, you could see my face just going, because it was so bitter. But it was alright. It wasn't the worst, but it was good. So got that, and I talked to a local there, asking him like how many times you drink coffee in a day and stuff like that. He said in the morning I'll go to like a bar like this, have it once, and in the afternoon it'll be like home and stuff like that. I'll have like 3 more. I was like, dang. But yeah, he said around like 3 to 4, 5 a day. And then I got to talk to the worker, and I asked him, like, what type of coffee drink would you recommend to foreigners? I didn't get the answer I wanted. I was hoping he would say like something different, but he said an Americano. But yeah, but at least I got to talk to them. So then after that, where did I go after that? Oh yeah, I wanted to try to find a place I could get coffee from, a cucumella. So I looked and looked around, and I finally found a place. It was called Don Cafe, if I can remember, and they served the cucumella. I got the cucumella coffee, came and poured it in, and it was different. It was really different. It was more like, a drip coffee like here in America, but like just in a smaller serving. But it was good. It wasn't horrible. It's not how I'd like to enjoy coffee, because I don't like the whole watered down aspect of coffee. That's why I don't really drink drip coffee here. But yeah, it was really cool. And I'm glad I got to find a place that served it from a cucumella, because the cucumella is, a thing in Naples. So then after that, I wanted to try a more, dessert coffee drink. So I was looking around for a place that had affogato. And affogato is ice cream, gelato, usually vanilla, with espresso poured over it. So I found a place that served an affogato. It was called Leopoldo, and went there. Horrible experience. The workers were not very nice, and basically got yelled at by the worker because I couldn't understand what she was talking about, and I had to say like, what are you saying? But she didn't like that, so she basically like yelled at me. But I got the affogato. The barista wasn't very nice either, but affogato was amazing. Other than a macchiato, which I considered the affogato to be more of a special drink, but it was amazing. It's probably like one of my favorite Italian drinks, inventions as well, but it was amazing. But yeah, so that was basically Naples. That was my summary of Naples. Got to learn about you know, the Neapolitan style espresso, the blends, the coffee blends, you know, how it's more Robusta and everything like that, because Robusta is cheaper and then Arabica. And then I got to go to a third wave specialty place, is how I like to say it. And it was really cool learning about that. Then after that, I had the crazy experience at Cambrinas, and I got to learn actually how to make a hand-pulled espresso, my own espresso, and that was super cool. That whole experience was cool. Got to learn about how the pastries, how they originated and everything like that. Crazy experience. Go watch the video, but it was crazy. Then the next day I got to try the 100% Robusta coffee. It was alright. And I got to try a Cucumella coffee, and that was really interesting. It was different. It was different than what I was used to trying in Italy. And then, yeah, got to have the affogato, one of the last drinks I was missing, the last Italian drinks I was missing. So I learned a ton in Naples. Naples was probably the most successful place out of all the places I visited, and it was very cool. It was very cool. Mostly because of the experience I had at Cambrinas, but still, it was very cool. So I'd say probably my favorite place was definitely Cambrinas. My least favorite place was Leopoldo, where I got the affogato, just because of how I was treated. But yeah, that was Naples. Now going out of Italy and then going to Istanbul, Turkey. I'll tell you about that now. Okay, so now on to Istanbul. So my goals in Istanbul was to try Turkish coffee, learn about like what locals, you know, what they drink and eat and stuff, how they enjoy their coffee and everything like that. Learn how Turkish coffee was made, and just to see, you know, the specialty coffee third wave scene there. Not too crazy compared to like the other places, but so basically the first day, after going to a place that wasn't open, they were permanently closed, I went to one of the most famous places to get a Turkish coffee in Istanbul. I went to Pierre Loti Cafe, and I went there to get a Turkish coffee. Amazing view, beautiful view of like half the city because of how huge Istanbul was, but it was a great view. And I asked the waiter, like, hey, what do you guys have with, you know, coffee? And he said, you know, we have a Turkish coffee and this one sandwich. So I got the Turkish coffee. I ordered the sandwich, but there was a language barrier, so it didn't come in until like 20 minutes after I had my Turkish coffee. But I had the Turkish coffee for the first time, and interesting. It was very interesting and different. Wouldn't say it was my favorite. Definitely not my favorite way to drink coffee, but you know, I had to have it. Basically, it was like a really thick and creamy coffee, and strong as well. Super strong, stronger than like espresso in Italy, like Neapolitan style espresso even, but super strong, and thick. And then I made the mistake of, you know, trying to chug it down, and I got all the coffee grounds in my mouth, and it was awful having that experience. And that's when I realized, you know, like, they don't put this through like a filter or everything. They take the coffee grounds and water, they make it together, and then they pour the whole thing into the cup. So it was nice. It was nice having the Turkish coffee for the first time. And then I had this whatever the sandwich thing was. I don't know to this day what it was called. I got told what it was called, but I forget. Kinda sorry, but it was good. It was definitely very good. So then sitting there, I got to talk to a local from Istanbul. You know, I asked him about the coffee culture here in Istanbul, what they like have with coffee and stuff like that. And he told me about like the whole history of coffee in Istanbul. He told me about how like Istanbul is like, you know, almost the inventor of coffee, how they, how they originally like founded coffee, and like how they were the ones to like figure out what you can do with coffee and stuff like that, and then it spread to like places like Vienna from Istanbul. And he told me about how like people have this like liquor thing with the coffee usually. I didn't know what that was. He couldn't provide like a description or picture of it, so I had no clue what it was. So I really wanted to find that after getting to talk to him. It was great talking to him. His name was John, something like that, and it was great talking to him. He was a local, and he gave me a perspective of what locals do here in Istanbul. There in Istanbul. Sorry, I'm not there. I'm not here right now. But so after learning that, I went to, I wanted to find more of like a local place. So I went to this market, like a big, bazaar market type thing. And I found a place there. It was called Bedahan Cafe, I think. And I got recommended to go there by a like worker at the bazaar. And he told me get the Turkish coffee with milk. So I go to Bedahan, and I get, let me go back to Chan, the interview with the local. He told me that Turkish people, they have, the Turkish coffee without sugar. So to complement like the fact of not having sugar, they have a Turkish delight with the coffee. So, that's like what they have with coffee. Like in Italy, they have espresso and a croissant. In Turkey, they have Turkish coffee and a Turkish delight. So that's what he told me. So I went to the Bedahan, this other place, got told to have the Turkish coffee with milk, and then I also got a Turkish delight, a pistachio Turkish delight, to do this whole culture thing that Chan told me about. So it was good. The Turkish coffee with milk, I'd say I liked it better than just the regular Turkish coffee. You still got that whole, coffee ground texture and stuff like that, and it had all the coffee grounds and whatnot to it, but it was still very good. It was still dark and strong and powerful and stuff like that, but then you got the milk flavor, and it was a good pairing. But then I got to have the Turkish delight, and it was really good. I could see why they complement the Turkish coffee with the Turkish delight. It wasn't much. It was probably like this big. It was a little rectangle thing, but it was very good. And I'm glad I got to have that whole culture experience. They also at that place served like a pink drink. Still don't know what. I think I know what it was because I asked Sean about it. I got his phone number and I asked him about it, and he said that could have been the liquor thing that he was talking about. So, I got to have that liquor culture experience thing. Not liquor like alcohol liquor, but that's just what it was called, like liquor. So, I got to surprisingly, unknowingly have that whole culture experience there with the Turkish delight and with the liquor thing and the Turkish coffee. So I thought that was really cool. That was a really cool place. Glad I got to experience the culture, what they have in Turkey. So the next day, I went to a place that Sean recommended to me, and he recommended me this place because that's where he thought you could get the liquor thing. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail about this place because it was a chain place and it was a failure. I got chocolate Turkish coffee and like two of these hazelnut little pastry ball things. The chocolate Turkish coffee didn't even have chocolate in it. They just gave you like a little Lindt chocolate ball with it to put like in the Turkish coffee, and the Turkish coffee wasn't that good. The only thing that was good was the two hazelnut balls or whatever, and I didn't get to speak to no one, and it wasn't that good. It was a chain, and I wasn't very happy. Definitely a failure. So after that, I wanted to hopefully go to a way better place since I went to that place. I found a place called Kavechi Serif. It was a really cool place, and they served and made Turkish coffee in like the most original and antique old way possible. It was like, it wasn't like a coffee shop or like a in a brick and mortar place. It was like they had this one like stand where it had sand in it. It was like a sand pit like stand. And the sand was like boiling hot. It was like a stove kind of, but with sand. And that's like the most original way to make Turkish coffee. So I go there. Really cool place. Really cool place. It was just that stand, and then seating all throughout the alley that they were sat in. So I go there and I get a Turkish coffee, and I asked if I could see how it's made, and I got to learn how it's made by watching the guy make it. And one of the goals completed. One of my goals was to learn how Turkish coffee is made, and that's how I got to learn. He took the Turkish coffee pot, put a scoop of the coffee in it, the Turkish grounded coffee, because they have a special ground for Turkish coffee. Then he put like water in the pot, mixed it together, put it on the hot sand as acting as a stove, and then it just cooked. It cooked until it boiled, and he just took the pot and poured it into a cup and served it just like that. So that's how you make Turkish coffee, and I'm glad I got I'm really happy I got to learn how to make it, especially from that place. It was a really cool place, and that Turkish coffee was actually the best I had, in my opinion. It was actually really good. Like the other places, I was like, oh, this is really strong and powerful, and the flavor is weird. But this place, it was strong and powerful, but the flavor was actually pretty good. And I learned not to chug it to get all the coffee grounds in my mouth. But yeah, it was really good. I'm glad I went to that place. Kafeci Sarif, really cool place. Locals were there and everything like that. So yeah, that was day 2 in Istanbul, and day 3 was the day that I wanted to go to all the third wave and specialty coffee places. So there was 2 places. I went to the first place I went to was called Kave Rengi or Kave Rengi Roastery. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but so after walking for an hour and 20 minutes to that place, it was worth it. It was really cool. It was really small. Like, it was probably smaller than that kiosk Bar Piccolo that I had in Milan. But it was super cool. Like, the whole design of the place was really cool. So I go there and I got an espresso, and I got like a blueberry or multi-berry cheesecake. Espresso was amazing. The blend that they use for the espresso is called like Magic Blend or something, and it was really good. Then the blueberry cheesecake was also amazing. Blueberry cheesecake was actually got me on a whole like cheesecake run, but it was amazing. Sorry, I had to cough, but yeah, cheesecake was amazing. And then I met this one Canadian guy there. He spoke like perfect Turkish, and got to talk to him and learn a lot about him. He used to be like an ex-professional soccer player, and he played for a lot of pro teams in Istanbul and like Europe especially. And he's from a college. He went to a college that's like really close to my college, W&J. It's called Bethany, and we actually played them in soccer and everything like that. So it was really cool getting to meet him, and he translated for me. He helped me talk to the worker there, and he asked the worker and him questions. He told me about how it's like really hard to get especially third wave specialty coffee third wave place started, especially in the area that they are in. He said that to succeed in this area, you have to provide a really great product and everything like that. And we had a great conversation, and I'm really glad I got to meet him. He was an amazing person. He bought my coffee, he bought my cheesecake, and he bought me a whole bag of coffee. That couldn't be more grateful for meeting a person like him. His name was Memo. I don't know if I already said that, but his name was Memo. He was an amazing person, and he helped me out a lot by translating. Without him, I don't think I would have learned that much. But yeah, had an amazing experience there. The coffee was amazing. Meeting Memo was amazing, and having the interview with the worker was amazing. But so after that, I took a little break, and then I went to the second third wave specialty coffee place. It was called the Coffee Department. Really cool. Got there, really cool vibe in the whole place. There was a cat inside the coffee shop. Thought that was really cool. But then when I got there, I saw that they offered they had all these cards that were the different single origins and stuff that they offered for coffee. So I looked through, they probably had 20 different offerings. So I looked through all of them, and I decided on a Kenya single origin, and I got a carrot cake as well. And really cool. The coffee was amazing, and the carrot cake was cool as well. And it's still really cool to see, how these specialty coffee places, how they go out of the way to make different but very good pastries. They're not making Turkish delights like the normal culture is in Turkey. They're making different things, like carrot cake, and they made a lemon cake and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. And the same thing with the previous third wave place. They did the same thing, and thought that was really cool to experience. The coffee was great. I already said that, but the coffee was amazing. Then I got to talk to a worker. His name was Manu, and I asked him a few questions about specialty coffee and stuff like that in Istanbul especially. And I had a great conversation with him. But yeah, that was Istanbul. I very successful in Istanbul. Got to complete my goals of having Turkish coffee, learning how to make Turkish coffee, learning what the locals have, and learning about the third wave specialty coffee in Istanbul. Big success in Istanbul. I'd say my favorite place was, for local place, was that Kahveci Sarif, the place in the alley with the original way to make coffee with the sand pit and stuff. But then Kahve Rengi was also really cool. The experience with Memo and talking to him, and the coffee was actually really good too. But that was probably my favorite tasting coffee, Kahve Rengi. But my least favorite place was definitely the Kahve Dünyası, the chain that I went to. Least favorite place. I wish I didn't go there, but oh well. Went there anyways. It's fun. So yeah, that was Istanbul. Success for Istanbul. It was great. I loved it. So now, closing remarks. Very successful trip. Couldn't have been done without my college. Washington Jefferson College, and the whole Magellan Project program. Such a life-changing experience, and I'm so grateful to be able to do it. To be able to have done it. It was amazing. Can't thank my college, W&J, enough for supporting my whole Magellan Project trip, and learned a ton. Met a lot of great people, interviewed a lot of great people, asked a lot of people questions, learned about all the different cultures that I was planning on learning. Success in all the places. I'd say the place I could have done better in was Trieste, but the only reason I'd say that is because I was trying to go to the Illy factory where they roast the coffee and stuff like that, but I didn't know that you needed to like be like a whole month in advance, like trying to get that set up. So could have done a little better there, but it still was a success there. Most successful was definitely Naples. You know, Gambrinus was crazy and everything like that. But yeah, that was the overview and summary of my Magellan project. It was an amazing experience, and I'm so thankful for it. Learned a ton. Had a ton of amazing coffees and pastries, and you know, yeah. Thanks for watching all the videos. Go watch all the previous videos of me actually, you know, being in the places and talking to the people and stuff like that. So this was just the overview. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you W&J for this amazing experience, and yeah, see ya.